Hey there, and welcome to Throw Up Thursday. I'm your host, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc.
Take 3 to Throw Up Thursday, where everybody except the hosts throw up their problems and feel better. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, well, to tell you the truth, I'm just happy I fucking remembered to do this because I was in that mode and I was in the zone, man, in it. So this is nice to come and be social and giving and whatever. We knew that I was going to fuck up the tech on this someday, let's be honest.
Honestly, the fact that it hasn't really happened up to this point, I mean, just with everything, because there's always something that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And I think it's gone pretty smooth for the most part.
Sure. So, let's dive right in. Do we have any questions?
We got a whole bunch of questions.
Oh, we do, indeed.
All right. A bunch. Okay, so the first one is maybe I'll wait and see if is Grace here? I'll see if Grace tunes in. Okay. So I have one question that is anonymous from a friend.
Okay.
So this goes, any advice for losing a best friend? I noticed a few weeks ago that my best friend of 6 years has stopped investing time in our relationship. When we're with each other, which is rare, she isn't her typical bubbly self, and she's usually stoned. I just thought she was going through something. I mentioned it once, but she seemed caught off guard and deflected. But then I started to notice how she behaves around her other friends, which is just how she used to behave around me. She's happier. We live together, and I've noticed she spends most of her time at their house, even staying over on weekends. It makes me really fucking sad because it seems like I'm losing my best friend, but it also makes me happy that she seems happy. Oh. Any advice on dealing with the sadness?
I'm inclined to let you have a go at this first, only because you've been through it, but I don't want to put you on the spot. You do a good job on this. I'm happy to go first.
Well, reading this question made my heart hurt because it's so especially the part about I'm happy that they're happy, but I'm sad because it feels like I'm thinking that I'm losing my best friend.
I feel like an asshole because I wasn't buying that part.
Really?
That was the part I was going to go after is I'm sure that has truth in it. But I mean, it's got to be sad. It's got to be mostly sad, and it's probably some anger too. So he's calling bullshit on that too. It's like something you say when you write a question in that's going to be on a live. But I don't know, man. I'm not feeling that.
Not buying that? Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, then I mean, I think I can buy that to not buy it.
And it doesn't invalidate the whole question by any means.
No, definitely.
The first piece of advice I would give is cut the shit and get real with yourself about how you're actually feeling about this. Either talk to your friend and tell her how you're feeling, or, I mean, this maybe that whole I'm happy for them thing is on the way to building a bullshit story for not confronting the friend.
Yeah, it could be.
I can see how someone might be afraid to confront the friend, so they just decide that they're going to be happy for them. But 6 years is a significant amount of time, I think. And I assume that this person wants to know what the fuck is up. And they're hurt. And they did the analysis of, this friend is normal with the other friends and then just not with me. So there's something there too, and a whole lot of question marks. So we got to go to the friend and ask, or let them go and just be roommates or whatever. But I don't see that happening. If they weren't roommates, I would say maybe that could happen, but I don't think so. It's gonna blow up. If this person does not confront their friend, they're gonna have some fucking domestic fight over some bullshit. And it's not going to be about the forks. It's going to be about the fucking friendship.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe I'm going straight to I'm happy for this person as a way to dodge anger.
That's
especially
what
if
I
you
think.
live, yeah, like especially if you live with a friend, it might be scary for them to admit how pissed off they are, especially just
Yeah.
being like seeing your friend be normal with someone else and being weird with you. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with, like, when you see someone who you've known, you know, I've gone through this, that you've known for a long time, just kind of switch and be like, are you taken over by aliens? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And
Yeah.
I jump to the like either being sad and being like, why don't none of my friends like me, or some bullshit, instead of being like, I'm fucking pissed at this friend, because that scares me, because for some reason me being angry at them seems like more dangerous, with like
I
the
get that.
very hairy air quotes, to the friendship than me being hurt by the friend.
Yeah. Which is why
You know
you
what I mean?
identified with this question
Yeah.
and bullshit part, is because it's a similar blind spot to your own. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, if that happened personally, I would immediately be pissed, because it might seem like to me that they're pissed about something that they're not talking to me about. And now they're being like cold and weird to me and fucking
Mm-hmm.
normal with our other friends. And then that must be happening all in company, by the way.
Yeah.
They're acting normal when they're there
Yeah.
with only them, and not, note to self, we have to have names, even if they're fake names, because
Okay, we can make up some names. Yeah.
but I mean, no, I'd be like, you clearly have a fucking problem with me. Just tell me what it is and we'll work it out. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's being chicken shit in this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's tense. And if you live with someone too, I think you gotta kind of find your courage and do something
Yeah.
like lame.
Definitely.
So
It's a real easy way to make your home life like hell if you just avoid that tension and that like unnamed. I mean, in college, I lived with like all four of my best friends, and we all ended up hating each other at the end of it, because we weren't honest that we were mad about other shit, and it just
right.
completely bled into everything. And it's very messy, and it gets very gross pretty quickly. So,
Yep, agreed.
if no one
So
else is going to be honest, it's got to be you.
yeah, and obviously there's been action has been taken just by asking the question. So good
Mm-hmm.
job there. Now keep taking action.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a good one.
Okay. Now we got another one. Okay, so this is another question from a friend. So, my question is, my question is how to truly validate something / an emotion for yourself when you don't get it from someone else. It can be very upsetting and hard when you want someone to understand and validate you. So when you don't get that in a tough moment, how do you make it okay for yourself rather than looking for outside validation?
Just name your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Let yourself, you can tack on, and it's okay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling whatever, and that's okay. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to validate your own emotions. You can't wait around for other people to do it. External validation makes you your environment's bitch in any situation. We don't like that. That reduces freedom. So learning how to validate yourself, internal validation processes, like that's where it's at. And that starts with just naming your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And noticing that you're dependent on other people's validation is a great first step here.
Mm-hmm.
But we need more emotion words too. Upset is not an emotion. It's too
Mm-hmm.
general. It could mean mad. It could mean sad. It could be scared. Anything. So, print out an emotions wheel and start practicing. And do it every time you think of it. You're going to be, Christ, in a week of doing that, you are going to be much less dependent on other people's validation. And God,
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be dependent on other people's validation. I was just writing that part in the narcissist book, by the way.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they need an audience. A narcissist needs an audience because they're not a whole human being. And so they are completely dependent on external validation because they have no way of internally validating themselves. And I'm not calling this person a narcissist by any means. I wouldn't do that, probably even in jest with somebody I don't know. But I'm just that internal, external validation thing. I was just typing, so that's not.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like a weird universe thing.
Kinda.
Yeah, but I mean, I think also like if you aren't able to internally validate your own emotions, then like no amount of external validation is ever really going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just going to feel kind of like a Band-Aid over it. But it's just like if you don't really love yourself, you can't accept love because you're always like, well, you know, why? Why would they love me? You know, unless you're like, I fucking love myself. I'm awesome. I don't need to like check with someone else. Then you're able to be like, oh, thank you for your compliment or whatever, you know? It's like, unless you're able to say like, oh, fuck, I'm sad. And that's valid. Yeah. Someone else saying like, oh, that's so sad. There's still going to be a part of you that's like, is it really sad? Or are they just saying that?
Right.
Yeah.
Nicely said, Olivia.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think this working with kids thing is really bringing it to this like basic level of being like, he started a tantrum this week, which of course is going to happen. But so I'm like, okay, we're feeling frustrated. So what can we do when we're feeling frustrated? And kind of like going real basic with it, which is good for me because I'm getting frustrated at the same time.
Totally.
So it's like, okay, let's both take some deep breaths.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to help, you know, everybody in this room.
Yes. Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
It's such good practice for you.
Such good practice.
Dude,
I know.
Kids will take you there.
I'm having a lot of practice with the keeping my boundaries because this fucker's like really testing me this week to see where the line is.
Yes.
And so it's my job to say, here's the line so that he can, you know, do whatever he wants. But when he crosses that line, no.
What
it's
are
not going to happen with me.
For this kid?
So the other day he was kicking me and I told him like, I don't like it when you kick me. Please stop doing that. And he did it again. And I said, I've told you I don't like you kicking me. You need to stop. And then he did it one more time. I said, I am telling your mom that you are kicking me. You are not allowed to do that. That is not okay. I've been very clear. And his face, oh my God, he was like, ooh, I wish everyone would do that when you put a boundary with them. Like the fucker my age or older. Because this little kid, he was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hell
really
yeah.
great.
Are you allowed to enforce consequences on your own?
Yeah. Yes, I'm allowed to give timeouts, and I've talked to the mom about it, and she's super cool and is like on my side. And they had a talk last night that I have full timeout privileges and about respect. And so today there was an incident with a Lego. I gave him a warning. He pushed it, and I said, okay, time to give me your Lego. And he was like, oh, I don't know where it is. And I was like, all right, please give me your Lego. And then he did. And I said, thank you very much for listening to me. And then like held it. And then he was totally able to like get back into his work. So
good for you. I would never do the fucker. I applaud you.
Yeah.
Well done.
I was just trying to reinforce doing what I ask. Okay.
I get it. I get it. And I'm not criticizing it either.
Yeah.
I'm actually applauding.
I'm just not sure if the thinking is like plain, because I felt anxiety in that moment when I was like, had my hand out there, because I was like, oh, fuck, is he going to listen to me? Like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be like doing a stare down with this kid. I would rather just be like, okay, it's fine. Or part of me wanted that, which I didn't actually want that, but it still revved up my anxiety, which I thought was funny, even though it's like the 6-year-old.
So tell us when you do your first time out with him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's coming because he's still, I see the look in his fucking eyes too. He's like, He started copying me today, like copying my sentences. And I was like, this fucker, I'm tired.
That is awesome. Okay.
It's great practice for me too. I'm like, I deserve this. Like, it's good. I've been avoiding this, so.
Good for you.
All right. Yeah.
What do we got?
Okay, we can do Grace's and they can watch the recording. Okay. I have a housemate who is pretty consistently in emotional crisis. And when I offer advice, which I only do with her consent, or when I share what's been effective for me in our conflict with other housemates, She consistently rejects it. It pisses me off to be around someone who is struggling and won't do anything to help themselves out of it. How do I hold boundaries and also keep an amicable friendship with her?
Oh, Grace knows the answer to this. There is some element of unsolicited advice here, I think. I hear the consent thing, and I don't doubt that. But okay, so if I'm wrong about that, and it's not about unsolicited advice, it's about attachment to outcome. So there's some ego piece here for Grace. They want their friend to do what they say. We don't give help with an attached string of you have to do what I say. Now, it is easy to validate that Grace is frustrated by, when somebody keeps coming back to you with the same thing that you've already weighed in on. Then I think it's time to say something disarming, like asked and answered, or I like to keep it short and sweet and humor shaming, However, you could explain it more like, you've come to me with this exact thing 3 or 4 times. I've already said what I think, and you don't take my advice and go test it out. So I don't really want to keep doing this. Like, maybe you want to talk to somebody else about this.
Yeah.
But the general answer for Grace, I think, is they got to back off. Just don't be there to be the shoulder to cry on this one. Did you say, no, I don't think you said any details of emotional crisis, but it sounds like there's some amount of repetition somewhere in it where it's like, okay, well, now you're just like, I don't know, rolling around in the pig pen, by choice. You're climbing in, you're rolling around, then you're getting out and you're going, I'm covered in pig shit again. And you're like,
what do I do? And then they go back in.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I hang back then. I definitely do that personally, but I do that professionally as well. If someone is like wanting to wallow, then, I'm not going to waste my, I've said it a few times. I'm getting a real active passivity, passive resistance kind of thing going on. And, nope.
I've experienced that before. The rejection to my pity party invite. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And I think that the pity party hit that we all get, is a cue that we're scared of change. Usually that pity party is just the human animal's way of resisting change.
Yeah.
So this friend is probably resisting some amount of change. And if they're chaos seeking, then they're doing it on another level too. Like if they're going for drama, actually that's one of the RC categories too, the drama chaos seeker. But like, it's all an avoidance tactic. So, I don't like to engage in an earnest way when someone recruits me for problem solving. I'm now engaged in emotional labor with them. I don't like to be used like that. And I think that's probably what Grace is reacting to, is a little bit of a drain, a little bit of an energy suck with no real intention of applying new behaviors that bring change forward.
Yeah, it's like when someone just wants you to be an audience for their bullshit.
Right.
And it's gross when you feel.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's icky.
Yes. And Grace has learned about some codependent tendencies that they have. So, go to Coda. Everybody, by the way, go to Coda. Everybody's fucking codependent. Coda's free. Go to Coda. It's online. You can go to one in New York. Fuck.
It's super easy now too. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Next.
Cool. Okay.
Thanks, Grace.
All right. Okay. This one from another friend. This one might be a little hard to answer, so if not, we can talk about something else. But
Sweet.
how can I determine if I have childhood trauma that I can't remember? I have major holes in my memory from childhood. I don't really remember anything, and I find myself experiencing intense rage at my kids when they cry or don't listen. I wonder if there's something deeper there.
There is something deeper there.
Mm-hmm.
The general thought psychologically is that repressed memories aren't a thing. That's an 80s sort of culty thing. And, I don't know this person. And remember, this is not psychotherapy. This is entertainment and at best coaching, but mostly entertainment. So this is not a replacement for medical or psychological services right now. I'm going to say that. Because the 80s repressed memory thing, me saying that's pretty fucking edgy. You remember something. A lot of times when people don't remember, it's because they dissociated. Bits and pieces are usually there, like snapshots or whatever. This person clearly has to go get some help. The kids thing, they're struggling. This person's definitely struggling. And if there's trauma work to be done, that I do not suggest anybody does that on their own. Get a coach, get a shrink. It doesn't mean meds I don't want it getting in the way of this person's self-confidence in raising their kids. Trauma already has shame attached to it. And if that trauma is affecting your ability to parent your kids in a way that matches your values, you are just piling on shame on top of shame. I'm sure there's a ton of anxiety on board too. I'm hearing like a little bit of an out of control feel, and an attempt to offload a little bit. Like you got to go get in the work. This person sounds like they may have already known that and have been avoiding going and getting the help. I'm dying to know who this is, but moving on. Do you have something to add?
No, I don't really feel. This is not my friend. It's someone else's friend that they sent me their question.
Well, and that's a serious one too. I don't blame you for not weighing in on that. That's big shit. And when something is big shit like that, you got to go get professional help. And that means paying for somebody decent. Doesn't have to be me. It does have to be someone decent. And a lot of decent people do not take insurance. If it's trauma work, I would not fuck around and nickel and dime that. You find the money, ask for the money from somebody and do the work. You got kids. Okay?
Yeah.
You can read my book for free on the YouTube channel. It's a parenting manual. That's free.
Dr. JJ Kelly on YouTube. Go check it out.
Olivia manages the page beautifully.
Okay, cool. So let's end on a little bit of a lighter note.
Let's.
That one. That's a little heavy. So Valentine's Day is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So what are some self-love, self-dating fun tips that you have on how to celebrate with yourself?
Well, that is so funny because Sam and I were just talking about it. We've spent the last couple of Valentine's Days together.
Aww.
Yeah. And spending it with your brother, if you like your brother, is a nice way to do it. When I was in undergrad, this whole thing about romantic love, which is lovely, don't get me wrong. I just always sort of thought of Valentine's Day as a day of love. It doesn't have to be romantic. And, sometimes I was in a relationship and sometimes I wasn't. And even back in undergrad, I would go get Valentines for everybody and then deliver them on my bike. And because I didn't know, everybody has a roommate, 4 in undergrad. And a lot of times I didn't know the people very well that they lived with, but I always tried to put like a sentence on the back that said something. And so I would deliver like 180 or like crazy amounts of Valentines on my
Oh my God.
Yes, totally.
Sweet little Cupid.
So, and everybody loves them. And they were just like the dumb ones in a box, you know, like that you do in grade school. But do you remember like when you'd have your own bag and then they put it in or whatever in school?
Yeah.
I say we do that. Like, and it doesn't have to even be a physical Valentine or anything. I mean, God, you could do so much electronically in seconds. But let's use this day of love. Oh my God, especially with like COVID and shit. Like, let's make a brave effort to connect with people we love. And you know what? How about strangers too? Like, let's just go that whole day on Sunday being in love with everyone that we see or meet or see in the mirror. It has to start in the mirror. So talk to yourself in the mirror when you wake up on Valentine's Day, like you would someone you are completely in love with. Or if you have like a celebrity crush, imagine that they're in front of you and all the things that you say, oh my God, your hair looks so good today. Oh my gosh, you have the most beautiful lips. I can't wait to kiss them. You know, like whatever. The sillier, the better. And say it out loud too. Fuck it. You know, like everything's so heavy and tight right now. Fuck romantic love too. That's hard at the moment. And you're lucky if you have it. Like, I'm happy for you. Do something great and do something big. You know, and if you're with a straight dude, tell them to do something big. Just tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them. And even if you can help them with what to do, take the pressure off.
Yeah.
But very little will do. Just a little bit, just dedicate the day to love and pick to whom or whatever. So I think I cut out during that one part. So I just want to say that, you know, if for those of you who are with a straight guy in a relationship, tell your guy to do something big this year for Valentine's Day. It doesn't matter what. It just means thought. A homemade card will do. You can even help him with what. Don't get stingy about, hey, you got to come up with it. No. Work together or whatever. But this day of love is about effort, like a deliberate effort to connect. And think about what your partner want. I think that's important too. That whole like that love language thing, that has some validity to it. Just to get people, like, everybody gives to their partners what they want. Like, that doesn't really work unless you both like the same shit, which chances don't. So I think that really thinking about what your partner wants and making an effort in that direction and not worrying about looking like a fool or making a mistake. I mean, that is, again, that's anxious self-centeredness. That's not generosity. Real generosity comes with putting yourself aside and doing an act of love for someone else. And I want it to be brave. I want everyone to do something that scares them a little bit, because that's the kind of love that gets us out of this shithole.
Yeah.
The courageous kind. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic for people who aren't in a partnership. You can still be brave. Just find something that scares you just a tiny bit and do that. And then fucking celebrate how brave you were to put out an act of love at a time of strife. Let's all do that. I'm going to do that too.
Beautiful.
Battery's going to die.
Paint it
Apparently, so can any more
Oh, goodness.
What?
That's it.
What'd you say?
Oh, I just said paying it forward. I don't know. There might be a...
Sure. Sure. Okay, do that. Nice sum up, Olivia. All right, so my phone's going to die. What is that? What is that?
It's a link.
Is it to a
What
song?
is it a link to?
I see Spotify. Oh, everyone listen to
Oh.
this. Let's put this on the post when I post this. How do we capture that link?
Megan can post it again. Oh my God. Oh God.
Right.
She
Yes. Get it from Megan and let's post it on this later.
Okay, will do.
All right.
Okay.
To everyone who joined us today for Throw Up Thursday, hope you barfed your problems and feel better. We will put a song on for Valentine's Day for all of you attached to this link.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, Liv.
Love you.
Get in touch with me, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, at drjjkelly.com.